My name's Elise Edwards, and I have been an actress in New York for 6 months now. I actually stayed in the mid-Atlantic region until I earned my entry into the union, which is now SAG-AFTRA. They used to be two separate ones. And what got me into acting, I would say, well, I've always been dramatic, theatrical, but I would definitely say that my sister is the person who got me into acting. She's 10 years older than I am. Her name's Hannah. And I just remember going to see, in one season at the high school, they did A Midsummer Night's Dream and The Hobbit, and I just loved all of it. Because I spent so much time with my sister, she was always babysitting me. She had to take me with her, and I would go backstage and get to see everyone, in dress rehearsals and in tech. And, they did Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and my brother played Jacob in it. And I remember being backstage, being like, okay, and the storytelling, costumes. I was already dancing and stuff at the time, so that's really where I caught the bug, if you will. Yeah. I moved to the city in January after having worked this last season on House of Cards, season 2 of House of Cards, as a stand-in, and I had been auditioning for small speaking roles throughout, and I hadn't gotten any of them, but they kept me employed as a stand-in, which was a really tremendous learning experience for me because I come from a theater background. And so being able to not only work on such an incredible program, something that really changed the face of streaming, of television, of how people consume content, of how content is written, but also it was tremendous for me because I got to, as a stand-in, I get to repeat over and over the technical aspects of acting for on camera that you don't really have to account for too much in theater. Obviously you want to find your light. You don't want to move to a completely different part of the stage if you've already had a tech rehearsal and your technical team, your light cues, all that kind of stuff are going to be happening in a certain place. But yeah, I get to be part of something awesome, really get to experience hands-on how the story is being told, and I get to learn how to hit a mark or 5 over and over and over again for camera and lighting purposes and directing purposes. Okay, so to hit one's mark, or to hit a mark, is to land in a place and deliver a line. A mark on the floor in television or film is literally a place that has been marked by a gaffer as a place indicating the place where the character or the talent will end up to have a moment or to say a line, so that they know where to place the camera. They can rehearse dolly movements or camera moves, either with the character or have the character step into frame. So that is to hit one's mark. And in theater, you do hit a mark as well. You just have a lot more leeway. And it's not in high definition. Take my hair down if that's okay. I'm gonna take my hair down and I'm gonna put my sunglasses on because there are 2 things in life that I definitely cannot. I just feel completely wrong without, something like the earth is gonna spin off its axis without, and that is my sunglasses and lipstick. So I don't know how my lipstick's doing right now, but that's neither here nor there. I'll forego it for this. Anyway, also, did we tell you that we are in beautiful Central Park here in New York City in the back of this awesome carriage with, dear, what's your name?
Tony.
Tony, with Tony, our driver.
Tonino Salerno, yeah.
And what's your horse's name?
Spartacus.
Spartacus, and Spartacus, the horse, having a lovely ride. So, okay, so back to the question, which is, how did I get my SAG card or my entrance into the union? So this is really my life coming full circle. My first paid acting job ever was an under 5 on America's Most Wanted. It technically was really just a featured extra, but I guess my character actually had a part in the story, and I spoke a line or two, but then it was all redone in voiceover, so it didn't matter. Anyway, so it was in 2007. I was a junior in college. I just started my junior year in college, and I read for a principal role, which they were like, okay, well, if you get this, you'll have to join AFTRA, and you're going to work several days and X, Y, and Z. And I was like, okay. And so I drove up from Richmond, Virginia to Bethesda, Maryland, auditioned for the role, drove right back. Oh, this is all on my first day of school of my junior year, and then I got an email saying that they wanted to use me, that I was hired, and I was like, oh great, oh my gosh, I'm gonna join AFTRA, and this is gonna be amazing, and got permission from all of my classes, all my professors to miss class, which is a very serious thing in an actor's studio. So this is at VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University. So I planned all this stuff to be able to go back up to Maryland to shoot America's Most Wanted. And they didn't send me, so something about television, especially when it's like these reenactment things, is that you get very short notice, and they're rewriting scripts and how they're going to do things up to the last minute, and it's pretty crazy. So I didn't get until I was like literally about to leave for Northern Virginia this call sheet saying that I was cast, but I wasn't cast for the person that I had, the principal role that I had auditioned for, but I was like somebody's wife, Crystal. So I was kind of bummed about that, and I didn't know how that was going to work in terms of the union. Do I still have to join the union? Like I was completely freaked out the whole time. But turns out I got one day of work. I got paid as a union person, but I wasn't forced to join. So fast forward like 6 or 7 years later, and I'm living in Northern Virginia, and I'm spending a lot of time in Maryland, in around Baltimore, and I auditioned for a woman named Betsy Royal for another principal role on America's Most Wanted. This time I actually got the role, and it was so funny because I completely did not think that I got the role. I was like, oh, that's it. That was fun. And then they called me later that day, Peter Gillespie, the director of that episode, and said, you are our person. You are, oh dear, I forgot my name now. Anyway, so that was actually the job that forced me to join AFTRA, and this was only 3 months or 4 months before SAG and AFTRA ended up merging. So that's how I got into the union. I've never been wavered as an extra. I just did it like that. But yeah, it was really great. Actually, it's so incredible. The world of acting and of television and film and of theater, it's so small. I haven't seen a lot of people from the theater program at VCU in several years, and some people I still keep in touch with. But this one girl, Catalina, who is actually a grade ahead of me, I hadn't seen her literally since she had graduated, so a year ahead of me, I guess. And then this day in January, in what was that, 2011, 2012, 2011, when I'm shooting this America's Most Wanted. She's playing my sister. And it was great to just, show up on set and be like, oh, Catalina, what's up? And she's like, oh my gosh, Elise, and now we're sisters. And it was, just awesome. And things like that happen all the time. The first job that I took and the first background, extra job that I did was in National Treasure 2. And I show up to set. I drove up from Virginia, from Richmond, Virginia, and I was still in school. Actually, the next day or 2 days afterwards would be my acting final. And so I don't know what I was thinking by going up and being part of this thing. I guess I just thought, oh, well, it's, money and it's credit and, it's an experience and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, I get up there and we were shooting a gala scene for the president's birthday, and they holding at a movie theater, in a movie theater parking lot, actually. Well, not in the movie theater. So they had set up all these trailers and tents, and they told all the background to park there, and there was just this ocean of people just, swarming around trying to figure out where to go and all this stuff. And out of nowhere, my friend Grant McAmer from middle school, I mean, I've known him since I was in middle school or maybe 5th grade, just like pops out of nowhere, out of this sea of people. It's like it just crowded, I mean, it just separated like the Red Sea to Grant being like, hey, Lise, what's up? Yeah, I'm PAing this film. Cool, huh? Well, see you around. And so you never know who you're going to run into, and that's definitely part of the excitement. And you definitely get very close to the family that you work with, both in theater and in television, when you get to just work continuously with these people. And you definitely get teary-eyed when you realize that you're not going to see them, or you're on to the next project, or they're on to the next project. And things like Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that definitely helps in terms of keeping in touch with people. And you still get to ask how the kids are, or what they're doing, or if they're going to be in your part of town. But until you work on that next project together, sometimes it's really hard to get two people in the same place at the same time.